Hello Year 11, welcome to revision week 5. This week we are looking at secondary storage. So can you make sure you've got revision sheet 2 in front of you? We're going to be doing the second half of the sheet, the right hand side. Okay, so make sure you have that with you ready to complete. Okay, so in this section on memory and storage, there are two types of memory storage used that you need to know about. Last time we looked at primary memory. That is memory that can be accessed quickly by the CPU, and it stores your programs and data while they are being used, while the computer's running, while your programs are open. And it's mostly volatile, so it loses its data when the computer's turned off. And we looked at RAM, ROM, cache and virtual memory. Today we're looking at secondary storage. Secondary storage is non-volatile storage. That means it does not lose its data when the power is turned off, and it stores your data and files while they are not in use. So while they're not open or when the computer is turned off, it stores all your data and programs. Non-volatile storage to store data and files while they are not in use. And there are three main types we're going to look at, which is optical, magnetic, and solid state. Okay, let's move on and have a look. So before we actually look at those three types, optical, magnetic and solid state, there are some key words that you need to know when you're describing secondary storage in particular. Okay, so when you're describing it, you need to know and use these key words: capacity, cost, speed, reliability, durability, and portability. So what do they mean? Well, capacity is how much data can be stored on the device or media. How much data can be stored in megabytes or gigabytes. Cost. How much does it cost per megabyte to store? Okay, it's all relative. Some are more expensive than others per megabyte. Speed. How quickly can you read and write the data to the storage? How fast is it to read and write the data? Reliability. How long will it keep working for? Will it break after a few months or years, or will it last for a lot longer? Durability, how tough or resistant to damage is it? Will it break if you drop it? And portability, how easy is the storage to transport? Can you carry it around? Can you fit it in a pocket? Or is it too large? Okay, on your sheet, write down those definitions now. Try to do it from memory. And I know there is not a space for portability at the bottom, but try to squeeze it in if you can, please. What are those key definitions? And then check on the following section of the video. Go ahead now. Pause if you can. Okay. Hopefully you've paused. Let's check to see if you've got them. Key terms. Capacity, how much data can be stored. Cost, how much does it cost per megabyte of storage. Speed, how quickly can it read and write data. Reliability, how long will it keep working for. Durability, how tough or resistant to damage is it. And portability, hopefully you squeezed on the bottom, how easy is the storage to transport. Okay, now we know those key terms. Check and improve with your purple pen. Let's put them to use. Okay, so now we know those key terms. Secondary storage, remember, is permanent, non-volatile storage, so it keeps the data even when the power is off, and it's used to store your data and programs when they are not in use. There are three types of secondary storage. Types. You might specifically be asked in the exam to give an example of a type. The three types are magnetic storage, things like hard disk drives, solid state, which is things like SSDs or flash drives, and optical discs, which are things like CDs, DVDs, or Blu-rays. Your three types: magnetic, solid state, or optical. Okay, let's look at magnetic. Magnetic storage, and the main example is a hard disk drive. They are disks that are stored, data is stored magnetically. On the hard disk drive, you have a spinning disk that rotates really quickly, and there is an arm that moves backwards and forwards. So it has moving parts inside to read the data on a spinning disk. And the data is stored magnetically on the surface of the disk. What's good about that? Well, it's got a high capacity. It can store large amounts of data, so lots of storage. It has a longer lifespan. It can last a long time than the solid-state drives. And it is cheaper per megabyte than the solid-state drives. It's cheaper cost per megabyte. However, it is not durable. It's very fragile because it's got sensitive moving parts. If it gets dropped, it can be damaged. It can be damaged if it's moved around. And it is a slower speed to read and write the data than solid-state drives because it's got moving parts. Okay. Solid state. Solid state drives, or SSDs, are drives basically made up of flash memory chips. You can see on the picture here, it's got lots of little chips where the data is stored on. There is no disk. There is no moving parts. Because there is no moving parts and data is stored electronically, it is faster to read and write the data, and it's less fragile. It's more durable. So, strength. More durable or less fragile because there is no moving parts, there's no spinning disk. It is faster speed to read and write data than the hard disk drive because, again, there's no moving parts to slow it down. However, weaknesses, it is a higher cost per megabyte than HDDs at the moment. They are getting cheaper, but it is still a higher cost per megabyte compared to it. And they are lower capacity than HDDs currently. They are not as much space in our SSD as there is in a hard disk drive. And also, the other main thing, they have a limited life. There's only so many times you can write data to it before they do start to degrade and wear out. So they do have a limited lifespan. And the final type of secondary storage is optical. Optical is any disk that is read or written to using lasers. This is where a laser shines up onto the surface of the disk and reads the data, which is stored in little holes in the disk or little indents called pits or lands. The laser reflects off the disk and reads the data as binary, ones or zeros. Okay. Strengths. Well, the disks are cheap. They are cheap cost per disk. The disks are waterproof. Optical disks are waterproof and drop proof. They won't break just by dropping them or getting wet. And they are very portable. They are very lightweight. They can even be set in the post. However, they are quite an old technology and they have a limited capacity. So they do not have as much space as the other types, HDD and SSD. And they can be damaged easily by scratch. They can be scratched easily. Okay, and that is the third type. On your sheet, firstly, I want you to write down what is meant by secondary storage. Remember back to the video. And then for each of the three types, magnetic, solid state and optical, I would like to know an example. So magnetic, HDD, solid state drive, and optical CD, for example, and tell me 2 facts about it. Use those keywords: capacity, cost, durability, portability, speed, etc. Take your time, fill it in, please, and then unpause the video to check answers on the next part. Okay, hopefully you've paused. You've had time to write down your answers. Let's check. So, secondary storage. Definition. What is the definition? Permanent, non-volatile storage, and it stores your data and programs when they are not in use. And examples: magnetic is a hard disk drive. Not very durable because it has moving parts, and it has a large capacity. It is also slower speed because it has moving parts. Solid state drive, or SSD drive. Fast read-write speeds, and it is more durable because it has no moving parts, but it does have a limited lifespan. And optical discs, things like DVD, they are cheap cost per disc, they are very portable, but they are not very durable. They can be damaged easily by scratches. They are waterproof. Check your answers carefully, please. Make sure you've got 2 facts using those keywords such as durability, capacity, etc. for each one. You will need them in the exam. Okay, finally, in the exam, you may be asked to identify which type of secondary storage is best. You may be asked to identify if it's magnetic, solid state, or optical, for example. So have a look at this example question here. Which type will be better? An action camera used to record sports videos, like a GoPro basically. This has been a past exam question. Which would be better, magnetic, solid state, or optical? Well, a camera like that will be moving around a lot, and it's quite small. So a solid state drive or flash drive, memory drive, will be better. Why? Because it's durable, it's got no moving parts, it's small in size and portable, and the capacity is large enough to store videos and things and photos needed. Okay, a hard disk drive or magnetic drive will be damaged very easily and it's too big. Look at the second one. A server used to back up all the data of files on the network. While the server's not moving around, it stays stationary and it needs to store a lot of data. So magnetic would be better for this. It has a large capacity for data, it's reliable, it will last a long time, and it is cheaper cost per megabyte because hard disk drives can store higher capacity. It's not being moved around about, so durability is not an issue, it stays still. And the final example. A musician sending demos of their songs to a record label. So the songs aren't going to be very large in size, and they need to be sent through something like the post. So what would be best? You could have said a flash memory drive, but really what they're looking for if they ask this question at the moment still is optical disc. An optical disc would be suitable because it's very portable, it's cheap per disc, and the capacity is large enough. So optical discs would be suitable in this scenario. Okay, now you've finished the video and you've finished the sheet, can you go to Learn Combe Dean and you're going to complete revision quiz 5. Use those knowledge from today's video and revision from past things. Please make sure you check each question as always and you try again if you do not get the correct answer. We are looking for 100% correct by the end of the quiz. Good luck and I'll see you next week.